Hi YouTube! In today's video I'm going to be discussing the Spring-Summer 2024 runways that just happened and all of the trends that I noticed, so I hope you enjoy this video. Bows and roses. There's been a lot of very cute girly elements popping up in the collections. We've been seeing a lot of pretty, feminine, sweet dresses with cute details, princessy shapes and fabrics, but we're also seeing these girly elements and we're seeing them in modern day-to-day wear as well. These can range from prints, so we're seeing it in fabric as the pattern on top of the fabric, large and small, actual roses. In one of the shorts that I made recently, I go through the Simone Rocha collection where she's using actual roses and they're kind of stuffed in between all of this mesh. So this is a collection where we see both roses and we see bows, and they're taken into a kind of more grungy street style kind of vibe. So it's not all princessy dresses, although there are those big frilly girly meshy dresses as well. We're also seeing those motifs enlarged, and we're seeing them not just bows and roses for themselves but incorporated into the shapes and styles and fits. And we're seeing this in a lot of collections. We're seeing those bows made in the structure of clothing, big oversized bows. We're seeing them in straps, we're seeing them in belts, and this is a trend that already we were seeing a lot last year. Again, it was Simone Rocha. She had them like these kind of tier bows on the face, and she had that throughout her collection there. And already this is really huge. A lot of people online taking a ribbon and tying it on things, whether that's the straps of their clothing, whether that's in their belt loops, whether that's in bags, whether that's hair accessories. We're seeing a lot of bows anyway right now, and that is definitely going to continue into spring, summer next year as well. So everyone stock up on your ribbons and bows. Roses wise, a standout collection for me, again, I mentioned it in a short, I'm trying to make more shorts. Collection that I particularly loved that took the motif of the rose and then just went with it like fully, every iteration of this rose motif, whether it was rhinestone encrusted up here, down there, it was taken everywhere into the structure of the clothing. Again, it was a print, large and small, different colors. Every iteration of that one motif was explored. I loved that. I loved seeing that progress. It made me want to design collections again. It was really nice taking something and rolling with it. Even right now, I think you can find roses in prints if you're already thirsty for that trend, and it kind of ties in with the current gothicness that definitely works for the autumn full time. And for sure you can see maybe a black with some kind of red rose print or something like that right now. But I definitely believe it is also going to be taken into the summer. We will be seeing it in prints. We maybe will be seeing it like that David Comer collection in detailing of the clothing. Ruffles and Rara. This femininity is also shown in a ruffle, and to explain what a ruffle exactly is, a kind of flowy fabric that has been gathered together to create this kind of wavy look. By layering all of those flowy ruffles one on top of the other, you're getting a Rara texture, so it's almost like having stripes of ruffle, if that makes sense. In particular, the Rara, the layering, and the ruffles in general were quite big in the 80s, which is another era that I kept seeing pop up during the catwalks as well, which I will go into later. So big ruffles, maybe just one, maybe a few, could be on a neck, could be on a hem, could be on a sleeve. The year 2000 Y2K style is still carrying on, because in the year 2000s they were doing 80s retro and they were bringing back ruffles and that kind of thing as well. So they could be linked. There's always that kind of link. Those layered Rara type mini skirts that we were definitely getting in the noughties and the 80s on the catwalks again now because of this noughties and 80s revival. I know, a lot. And they were whole dresses as well, so just tiers of ruffle. Another trend from autumn winter, the ballet cord trend, might still be lingering, and we were seeing these kind of tulle-ish, it's going to be a hard one to subtitle, tulle-ish fabric with all of those layers of ruffle on it, which creates this ballet tutu-y skirt, again feeding into that hyper feminine princessy vibe. Now you can add volume to your body through something like a ruffle. It adds more shape. If there's an area of your body that you would like to give more shape to, it could be that your body is a little imbalanced with your curves. Perhaps you're a pear shape and you're small up top and larger around the bottom, and you want to make yourself appear more equal looking, more hourglass looking. You can do that by the area that is lacking in curve. You can put a bunch of ruffles there and it will just make your silhouette look as wide as your bottom half. So it may be one big ruffle, it may be mini rah-rah-y ruffles. That is a good way of giving yourself more. They give you a bit of swish in your step when you're wearing them. I find that even if it's just a ruffle on the hem of a skirt, like a fishtail, so it's kind of tight and then it flares out into a ruffle, it can feel nice. So, the 80s. Also linking into another thing that I'm seeing, which is dad dressing. When I talk more about eras in general, I will do an 80s video explaining a little bit more, but for now, some of those 80s things that I was seeing on the runways, the ruffles, big oversizedness of tops and blazers, puffy sleeves, exaggerated shoulders, safari shirts, again, big oversized, workout vibes, power dressing and suits in general. Now, dad dressing, the kind of dad that we're talking about nowadays, what it means to dress like a dad is a little bit different than it did perhaps in the past, where a dad really did look older, and I'm talking about that kind of sitcom dad style, and it ties in again with that 80s. We're looking at like a retro kind of dad with a big oversized ill-fitting blazer that knit with a little half zip or a V layered over a shirt, a tie even, a sweater vest, some big oversized high-waisted trousers, corduroys, rugby shirts, those kind of typical, maybe kind of geeky, nerdy looking dad style we were seeing. And it can be a very cool and easy style to get into if you'd like to take some of that chic nerdiness and do your own thing with it, still show your body shape underneath all that oversized clothing if you can. Maybe you want to contrast it and offset it with something. Maybe you want to edge it up, make it a bit grungy, make it a bit of rock and roll. Maybe you want to make it kind of sexy. Maybe you want to make it kind of cute. It can be quite nice to perhaps take half of it, whether that's just the top half, so you've got the kind of dad shirt and sweater vest, and then you've got some kind of frilly bottom, like a little frilly mini skirt, a frilly little rah-rah skirt. You can take those two trends and combine them. Yeah, you could be seeing if your dad has anything old that he wants to give to you, amazing, lucky. Or you could be heading down to your charity store, seeing what's about, seeing what's discarded. You could be going on resale apps. There's always a trend of stealing from other people's wardrobe, whether that's the mum jean that started from someone taking their mum's retro jeans and wearing them, to then it becoming such a phenomenon that it's in the high street as a mum jean styled to look like your mum's jeans, or, you know, the boyfriend fit. And it's only natural that the next person we're stealing from is now a dad. So we are stealing from all the people around us. Okay, now still in keeping with the kind of 80s-ness, I feel like I saw a lot of polka dots in the 80s, maybe for that kitsch fun style, and I saw this a lot on the runways for spring summer 2024. It popped up in a lot of collections, little polka dot, big polka dot, all of the colors, all of the iterations of it. I saw it, and it can be really fun clashing it with other prints. It can be clashing it with different polka dots. As usual, you're probably getting used to me saying this about patterns. To find the perfect polka dot for you, smaller person, smaller polka dot, bigger person, bigger polka dot. So just have it in line with yourself if you can. Color wise, It can be a nice way to introduce your colours into your outfits. If you're someone that isn't quite ready to let go of black, even though you know black doesn't suit you, it could be taking that black but having your colour as the polka dot on top. So you will be wearing as much of your colour as you can, but have that safety net behind it as the backdrop. A great way to pep up a look, so I would recommend it if you are looking for new patterns to add into your wardrobe. Yellow and metallics. The colour of happiness, yellow, showed its head in many collections, from that light winter lemony yellow to a deeper autumnal mustardy colour. I saw it pop up quite a few times. It feels summery, it's a sunshine colour, so of course you would want to wear it in the summer, and it puts a smile on you, the wearer's face, and the people looking at you's face, so it's a great colour to see popping up. A colour texture that is another move over from right now's full autumn trends into next year, into the summer, is the metallic. It is here to stay, it's continuing on. I saw it in a lot of collections. I think it's great, I think it's fun. It can feel a little daring. Maybe a whole outfit could be a bit much. It could be nice to have metallic details, but I think it's a really good way of almost adding another colour into a look, just with a bit of shine and shimmer and glamour. And it's nice that the metallic trend doesn't just have to be for Christmas, it can be worn in the summer as well. I'm sure that all the metallics won't just be these thick leather style metallics. I'm sure there'll be lighter, more breathable summer fabrics that you can enjoy. And what's great about a trend going from winter to summer and carrying on, it means that you don't have to then pack it away at the end of the season. You can take whatever metallic purchases you've made right now and continue them on. I believe that you should try and wear things all year round if you can. It saves us from buying too many new things if we can re-love our old things. And if you struggle with that, that is one of the things that I'm very good at helping you learn through a wardrobe edit, when I go through your wardrobe and teach you how to wear things in more ways. And I do that online too. So, fringing. It's a crafty, fun detail that popped up in a number of collections in a number of ways. There were whole fringed dresses, very, very cool, similar to that rah-rahness of taking an interesting texture and having it flow all the way around the body. Great. It was in a lot of hemlines on bottoms, and it's a lovely swish again to have when you're walking, and a little bit of fun. All I'd say is just be careful it doesn't catch on anything. I believe you'll be seeing some fringing elements in the shops, whether that's the really thin, skinny fringing or kind of chunkier cuts into it. There was an item from an era I kept seeing, which was the 60s mini dress. In my 60s video, which you can watch over here, I talk a little bit about how the 60s was characterized by the mini skirt and dress, in particular the shift style. The shift style of dress is without shape but short, so there isn't much structure. I was seeing these very short style dresses, but they had a bit of a modern update, as in a little bit of structure had been added in, but not enough to take away from a shift dress, I believe. It was just up the top we were getting a few cups and cutouts and deep V's, but it's still the bottom flared out in that A-line almost shape. So it still felt very shift dressy. There was just a little bit more skin on show, but still the same glossing over the curve effect, and then letting the little legs have their moment to shine, which is great if you're someone that maybe feels a bit self-conscious about their middle area. It's nice to have dress that just skims on out right over that and shows off your legs if you like to show your legs. But the modern update has a little bit of bust on show too. If you're also someone that would like to let your bust breathe, this is pretty ideal. And they're great, cute party dresses. hot pants. We're looking at shorts so short you're basically wearing a brief, as in an underwear. And it's quite a catwalky thing that I know isn't realistic in everyday, day to day. Personally, I would not like the idea of going around in that because it would have that look of I basically forgot to put my skirt on. And I've always found that, yeah, it might look kind of cute and fun on a catwalk, but I wouldn't wear that. But it's a trend that I saw. And even though there were a lot of very, very short, basically underwear ones on the catwalk, I still think that can translate into shorts, which are more realistic and cuter and more wearable shorts. I think we will be seeing shorts in general, very short ones, but shorts in the summer. Of course, we're going to be seeing shorts in the summer, but I think they're going to be very short. If you love showing off your legs, then exciting for you. Kind of the same as wearing a mini skirt, but you can feel a little bit more comfortable when you're going up a ladder or sitting with your legs open on the train. Still have that ounce of femininity that you may feel by wearing a mini skirt, you can still equally get through a short. So another item that is, yes, an item that you will always see, just like how you always see shorts in the summer. There are a lot of shirts on the runway, and I'm talking about a specific style. Maybe adding into that dad dressing. Looks like you've borrowed your dad's shirt, unstructured, loose, almost like a dress shirt, a bit boxy, a bit regular fit, in those typical shirting fabrics, like a crisp white shirt, crisp light blue shirt. Maybe it's got a bit of a pinstripe through it. Of course, they are a workwear staple. I know that recently with workwear being more casual, they have been phased out, but they are now being pulled right back in. In the fall, we were seeing more typical smart dressing and workwear such as ties coming back in, that smartness coming back in, and it's what you do with it that will make it feel modern, and now how you contrast it again, what you have on the bottom, what you have over it, that's going to make it feel your own. And with a shirt being slightly more regular and oversized, try and be careful of not having it swamp you. And the regular fit, almost shirt dress style is good because our legs can be what comes out, so we're not swamped. But you can also, with a shirt, have it open, creating that V style to show some bust. Putting a little sweater vest on top of it, whether it's belting it, whether it's playing with how many buttons are open or not open, tying it somehow, play with that regular fit oversized shirt, and simply rolling things, being more purposeful with our accessories. That's what makes us not simply wear our clothes but style them too. In my early university days, we were tasked with bringing a shirt in, just a plain regular shirt to play with on a mannequin, play with draping. How can we take it to the next level? And it's something that I recommend you do, even just for a bit of fun in front of the mirror. Turn it all the way around, have that collar at the front. That was on the runways. I took 2 shirts and buttoned them together and then played with how I draped it. Feel like I saw that on runways too. If even they're doing it on high-end runways, then you can achieve that dressed up high-end style by simply using like a £2 shirt that you got from the charity store, and you can have that runway elevation and uniqueness on a dime. And finally, just something not so much a fashion trend, but something that I've been seeing on runways that I just wanted to say that I saw was older models. And there were more of them than I've seen in the past recent years, and I just think it's really cool. They looked amazing in what they were put in. No one was being sent up, and it just went to show how style is ageless. They looked confident, and I believe you can look stylish at any age if you have that confidence. So take risks. Who cares about what number you are, how long you've been on this planet. Enjoy fashion if you enjoy fashion. Experiment, dress up, do what makes you happy. Things are changing in high-end fashion, which means they are both changing in high street fashion and what we wear in the streets, which means more people of more ages, shapes and sizes can feel confident dressing up and having fun and experimenting with fashion. And I hope you guys watching this feel like you can too, because fashion is fun and we all deserve to have that fun and feel confident. Wear what makes you feel good, because you will look good if you are feeling good. That's the end. Thank you for watching. If you've watched the whole thing, or even if you've watched a minute, thank you. Check out my shorts if you'd like to see a few favorites. Let me know what you think about these trends. Are you already doing some of them? Are you excited about them? Do you guys have favorite collections from these runways? Maybe I'll do a more in-depth video about some of those favorites if you guys would like that. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.